year in, Kendra, what did you go into last year? I'm sorry, what? Duo interpretation. Matt Williams. And this year she chose prose. So I'd like you to listen to Kendra Ellis's selection in prose that she performed in forensics. And it is called
Hate List.
The Hate List, yes. Kendra Ellis, everybody.
Anyway, usually I have a binder, but I have memorized these up.
Keep telling yourself that.
Oh my
Hey, baby.
Love ya.
Usually I could crawl into a seat somewhere in the middle, sink down into a C shape, my knees propped up against the seat in front of me, listen to my iPod, and completely disappear. But lately, Christy Bruder had been a real pain. It's not like that was news, since I couldn't stand Christy anyway. In elementary school, she called me Bucky Beaver. In 6th grade, she told everyone that I wore a thong, which in middle school is a huge deal. And in high school, she didn't like my hair and makeup and decided to call me Sister Death, which everyone thought was hilarious. I sank into my seat, pulled my knees up when my head was barely peeking over the backrest, stuffed the earbuds in my ears, and turned up the volume with my eye on my thumb. Sorry. The bus slid to a stop, and then to another. I felt a shove against my arm and figured it was someone walking past and ignored it. Then I felt a harder one, and someone used the cord to snatch the earbud out of my right ear. Tiny music spilling out. What the hell? Go away, Christy. I don't know what you're talking about, Sister Death. Maybe you're having a hallucination. Maybe you took some bad X or something. Maybe the devil did it. Whatever. Just as the bus turned the garden driveway, I felt another shove against my shoulder, only this time there was a muddy yank on the cord of my earbuds, and my iPod was ripped out of my hand. I picked it up and turned it back on, but nothing. It was dead. God, what is your problem? The bus doors opened and we all stood up. That's some sort of kid instinct, I think. You could be in the middle of just about anything. And when the bus doors open, you stand up. It's one of the constants of life. You're born, you die, you stand up when the bus doors open. Christy and I stood within inches of each other. I could smell pancake syrup. She gave me a smoked top to bottom look. In a hurry to get to a funeral, maybe dump Nick for a nice cold corpse. Oh wait, Nick is a corpse. Whatever your problem is, you're gonna pay for this. I pushed past her, cut across the aisle, jogged off the bus, and went up to where Stacy, Deuce, and David were hanging out as usual. I caught up to them out of breath and furious. A black Camaro roared into the parking lot, and I recognized it as Jeremy's. My heart sped up a little bit. The iPod was completely forgotten about for a second. Nick! Mr. Anderson scuffed up behind us and used his principal voice, the one we like to imitate at parties. No, Garvin students, beer is bad for your growing brains. Remember, Garvin students, always eat a healthy breakfast before going to school. And remember, Garvin students, just say no to drugs. All right, Garvin students, let's not linger this morning. Time to get to class. Better go before Anderson ruptures something. Yeah, Nick said. Got a lot to do today. I let you borrow my iPod, but Christy broke it on the bus. I'll take care of it. We entered the Commons, and I stood on my tiptoes, my eyes peeled for Christy. Over there! There she is. I am so getting a new iPod out of her. Nick unzipped his jacket slowly, but he didn't take it off. You've been on the list a long time, he said. And I immediately went cold, because I couldn't believe he just told her about the list. I was pissed, honestly. That was our secret, just between us. And he just blown it. And I knew that with Christy Bruder, there'd be hell. What list? And then there was this noise. It wasn't so much as a noise in my ears as it was in my brain. I screamed. I know I did because I felt my mouth open and my vocal cords vibrate. I let out total scream, but heard nothing. I flung my arms above my head, and I thought, this is something bad, this is something bad, this is something bad, which I'm pretty sure was my body going on autopilot. Life-saving autopilot. It was more like a message from my brain to my body. Danger, run away! She wavered and began to fall forward. I jumped out of the way, just as she fell between me and Nick. I felt like I was in slow motion. Blood spread across the back of her shirt. And then everything snapped in real time. Kids were running around, clogging doorways, and falling over one another. Some were standing around looking amused, like someone had pulled off a joke and they were sorry they missed it. Mr. Klein was shoving kids out of the way. Mrs. Flores screaming commands at them. Rachel pulled her cell out of her pocket and started dialing numbers. And then there was another crack, followed by more screaming. And then 2 more loud cracks, followed by 3 more. A crowd of kids surged in our direction. I jumped out of the way, afraid I'd be crushed. Don't we let me, Miss Willow cried. She's gonna die. I need your help. Please don't leave. But I was moving right along with them, and before I knew it, I was slipping over Christy's blood and a knot of kids trying to shove their way out of the commons. Someone owed me the lip. I tasted blood. Someone stepped on my foot. Hard, but I was craning my neck to her to notice. Christy seemed an impossible distance away. Besides, now I could see something worse. Over by the student council donut table, there were 2 bodies underneath, not moving. Beyond that, I saw Nick overturning chairs and dumping tables. Occasionally, he'd crouch underneath, pull a kid out, wave the gun in their face, and then be another crack, followed by more screaming. I started to put it together. Nick, the gun, the cracks, the screaming. My brain was moving slowly still, but picking up speed. It didn't make any sense to me. But then again, maybe it did. We had no way talked about this. I saw a clearing and rushed into it. I saw a kid 2 feet away from me. The back of his head was full of blood. I couldn't see Nick anymore. Now that I was in the middle of the room, I flipped my head from side to side. And then I caught a familiar blur to my left. Nick was approaching Mr. Klein, the chemistry teacher. Mr. Klein was standing his ground in front of a small group of kids, his arms outstretched. He was red-faced and apparently sweaty, or maybe he was covered in tears. I raced to catch up with him. "Where is she?" Nick screamed. Nick cussed and kicked the chair. It flew into Mr. Klein's legs, but he didn't budge. He didn't even flinch. "Where is she?" "I don't know what you're talking about, buddy. Just put the gun down and we'll talk. We'll talk about it." There was another crack. When I opened my eyes again, Mr. Klein was falling forward just like that, his arms still outstretched. He crumpled onto his side. There was a strange look in his eyes. I wasn't sure he was in exactly, but he looked like he wasn't looking at the cafeteria anymore. Oh my God. He's picking people off the hate list. I started forward again, only this time it felt like I was running through sand. My legs felt heavy and tired, and I couldn't move. Someone had tied something around me, squeezing the breath out of me and pulling me backwards at the same time. Nick was standing in front of Jessica Campbell. "Nick, please stop. Please stop it. Don't." He looked at me like I was the one with the problem or something. I think he said, "Don't you remember the plan?" Which kind of slowed me down a little bit, because I couldn't remember anything about the plan. He shook his head like I was so ditzy for forgetting the supposed plan. And then he drew the gun upward again. He was gonna kill her. I wasn't gonna make it in time. And then, all I knew that I was lying kind of halfway under a table, 4 feet from Mr. Klein. And Nick had a more serious, surprised look on his face. And I think I felt more than saw, but definitely saw too. A thick stream of blood pulsing out of my thigh, really thick and red. And then I raised my head like I was gonna get up or something. And then this great fuzz appeared in front of my eyes, and I felt myself getting lighter and lighter, or maybe it was heavier and heavier, and then everything